He was a Kastner.
Kastner train. He was brought out. Listen, are you Gerard?
Gerald.
Gerald? What is this goyish nomen?
Well, you know, what can I say?
In America, much nicht choice. So you're a rabbi, actually.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I'm now a retired rabbi.
And you have a Verizon account. It's time to get an updated
Yeah.
emeritus.
I have
Okay.
also a Gmail account.
So it's fine. I'll use whatever you use.
Oh my God. I might get another Frank. And that's it.
This is my phone number, should you want me, and my cell. We have a
Vehicle of all the family.
new find out.
Kneidl is a match ball.
Can I have someone? Oh.
Now you have to get this because now this would be like seeing a kangaroo in Australia, getting him in his natural setting,
In his natural habitat.
in a natural habitat.
I'm gonna want to one day look back at what you said, and if I don't have it recorded, I'm gonna hate myself. So I'm gonna record you. Because I don't know many people who've been here in Williamsburg
Span both things.
who can
Who met Celia Cruz.
I don't know, silly.
Celia Cruz, the great Latin singer, on Taylor Street. And Bedford area, there was a year before they built up
The project?
Pier 16. No.
Oh.
Pier 16. There was a huge public square. We had Golden Glove boxing in public.
Outdoors.
Outdoors. And we had concerts. Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, the greatest Latin woman singer of all time.
Would perform over
I
there.
would run.
When was this? When was this? The Hasidim were already settled.
Coming in, but they weren't powerful. They weren't ensconced in the numbers. There was a little. The puppet came, took over the Belvedere on Bedford and Hughes, and Sigatus came. It's a bit slow. Bells started coming over here. Taj and Dave.
Tush or Dage? Dave. Both.
Both started, but they
They went.
well. They went to Montreal.
Can I share
Tush.
real quick? Yeah. So the smaller
Oh,
Hasidic,
Rodney, do you like it?
the smaller Hasidic groups
I got it. Okay.
before soccer team,
Okay. I'll take a little bit.
the small. I give up this food involved.
Yeah, there's food involved. You can't compete.
Forget about it.
What's that?
Forget about it.
The smaller Hasidic groups, he's asking something.
Before soccer came,
Yes, there were lots of Hasidic groups.
There-
smaller
All
groups
the time.
that came pre-war.
Scully,
Some of them.
I think was. Buston was.
Came before World War II.
Yeah,
So they were already out of Europe.
yeah. Salem, Grunwald, Salem, Shield, Masons, and Mikvah, the first Hasidic. Pretty much by
So
40,
those communities
45.
avoided the Holocaust.
No, they just had people escape. People got
Before.
away. Did Saddam avoid the Holocaust? No, Hungarians really got flowers. But those who
They
came
had some
were
people here
earlier.
earlier.
Yeah, there was a bigger percentage of survivors from Hungarian Jewry
It was
than
relatively late.
late. They were affected relatively late, right?
As opposed to Polish Jewry, which was
Which
3 million out of 3.3 million. That's devastating.
wow.
So my Shver, son, had 10 in his family, 10 brothers. 2 survived.
Wow.
Mother and father.
Must have had similar things in
My family are also everyone's Holocaust survivors, but they were from Hungary, and our understanding of Hasidus was like centered around Ungarische Hasidim.
Yeah, Sigurd.
Sigurd, yeah. So tell me your name.
Talib,
Tell me your name.
Uncle Friedman.
Yassel Friedman? Wow, such a Heimish name. What are you?
Send it.
Sander Friedman? No way.
Go away, Jose.
Wat haben die Jiddische Namen?
Yo.
So, we're getting a business card.
Did your parents
Wait,
come
hold
from
it. I'm going to write down.
Satomare?
This is
Ah?
old.
Your parents came from Satomare?
My grandfather.
Japan.
No, my mother didn't even grow up affiliated with Satmar. She just married my father. My mother was born in Czechoslovakia. I don't know if Czechs or Slovakia. I've never. She came from Czechai.
Shachai.
Yeah, I believe. I don't even know
The
these.
grandparents from Satomare?
No, my father's father was settled in Williamsburg, Etzachon gehangen on the Satmar Rebbe after the war because his Hasidus was essentially not a lot of. We didn't. A shvuger.
During our there really was no Satmar Hasidim in Europe. That's an American.
No,
But he had a shliach. A family member was a shliach.
Actually, a Satmar Hasidim in Europe.
Yeah.
But it wasn't called.
It was really. It was.
It was Krula.
It was Uhel.
Yuel,
Rebbe.
yeah.
The Yuel
The Yoel Rebbe. Yeah.
Yes, Moshe. There was no
Tiger Bob.
such thing. They started calling themselves Satmar here.
They became the Rav in Sadman. They started becoming a Rebbe. He was very well trained. He was very different than some Hasidim. He was Galam.
He was supposed to be a child prodigy.
In 1938 or 19.
He was already the Rebbe.
There was such thing as Satmar Hasidim.
As far as I know from my father, yeah.
There were actually.
I never was in Sadman.
Yeah, right.
Bumi says no. Bumi says that
I don't know what
the correct history is that there was the Sigid to the rule.
Right. The older brother of the Satmar Rebbe was supposed to be the big Hasidus, and he was the Sigataruf.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rebbe Yoel didn't become. They didn't start calling him the Satmar Rebbe in the United States.
No, because when he went to Israel, he was already called the Sadman.
Right, and now it's very black and white.
It was great, but it wasn't very colorful. Shlomo came. We were the original group that listened to the Shlomo in the village gate.
No one made
That followed him on the IRT and the VMT. He became my Rebbe, Shlomo Kalbach. I followed.
Shlomo Kalbach?
Oh, I know all this. He was a Travis boy. He told us to go to the Madrasa Shtigl. Madrasa Shtigl was once in Williamsburg. Then it moved to You don't know these things?
I don't know these things. I don't know. Yes, of course. Hold on, I'm just trying to see what's in my pockets. So, I just want to hear your gratuitous
What do you
pontificating. When you come through this neighborhood, what goes through your mind when you see that people are preserving this and you gave up on it?
I didn't give up on it. I just couldn't make it mine totally.
Yeah, but if everyone couldn't make it theirs like you, then you wouldn't have a Gottlieb's restaurant.
I never put them down for their earnestness and their maintaining and the children and the kapotas or the bekishes and the find that that's their way. It's not my way.
You felt like it didn't work for you, but it worked for them.
Right. Who am I to look down on them?
Right. I hear you. No, I'm curious if you think, if you have a feeling of there are people who are doing the hard work for me.
You're not doing hard work for me. I do my own hard work.
You do your own hard
I
work?
study Meshach Chochmah. I teach Avodah Zarah.
Okay, I see.
I'm Galant.
Are your kids gelernt?
I'm very in English, in secular things.
In secular
They
things?
didn't go to yeshiva.
Doesn't bother you?
You're talking to a miniature Kamenetsky here.
I see.
Yankiv was my Masada Kedusha.
Who?
Yankiv Kamenetsky, the Rosh Hashanah served that.
Oh, really? So what does that mean in terms of...
That was glory in my life. And it
I
still
see.
is. I had glory here. I was the best yeshiva basketball player at the time. I had multiple finishes. I was also
You're also...
I was in the highest shurim in Travadat. I know Reb Belsky was a colleague, a compatriot. You know what I'm talking about? Israel
don't
Belsky,
know.
the Rosh Hashiva of Travadat,
Okay,
who
I didn't know.
replaced the Palm.
Now I'm doing it. I
Oh,
can't
God,
stand
you
these
know,
cups.
these cups are gefährlich.
Thank you. I can't take the cups. They're ridiculous. Thank you.
Here.
Ronnie, you didn't have enough of it. It's too kebab. It's tasty, too dry.
It's delicious, but I had enough.
Okay. Do you remember the police station?
Absolutely.
What was it like? Like, people say, oh, this
That became part of the Vision's.
is a vision school. I know, but I'm wondering, what did it mean to you in the past? Tell me
What did it
something
mean to
juicy
me?
about it.
It wasn't so necessary for me. Why? We were the Rov. We had Golden Glove Jewish boxers. We had great athletes. If you started up with Jews in the Williamsburg that I knew, as opposed to beyond Broadway or Pakochen, 10th Avenue,
Right.
you were not smart. I remember someone starting up with me, and I called Shmuel, what am I going to do? My cousin, he's an American. And he sent Leon. Leon was our enforcer, Leon Rosenblatt. He came, he grabbed the guy with one hand, he was a lefty, smacked him to pieces. The guy was my friend. He wanted to do it. We had Gesinte Chevra here,
Right.
including a few, maybe a few made Jews.
A few what?
Mafiosi.
Oh.
I don't know if they were made, but they were connected. Let me say that.
I see.
So, my Uncle Irving, my mother's brother, they all fought in the war, World War II. My Uncle Irving was a catcher for the New York Giants farm system.
Which year were you born in?
41.
41? So you don't remember the war?
I do.
You do?
I have pictures of Uncle Irving coming home, block party, bunting.
Does The Chosen accurately reflect that?
Partially.
Partially? In what way not?
I think he was more comfortable looking in on the world of Reuben, not the other guy, the way I went to Jewish Theological Seminary, than really understanding Hasidic Rebbe or Hasidic Rebbe. I think he made that up.
That he really understood Hasidus? Is that what you mean?
I don't think he understood it at all. I think he was distant. Chaim Patak.
I mean, the author didn't understand.
Yeah, I don't think
Chaim
he was
Patak.
intimate with it.
Did you read his other books, Chaim Patak?
No. Oh, I read Ashalev.
Ashalev.
Yeah.
But I mean the movie, The Chosen. They have that scene where
Rod Steiger.
they're coming home from the war, in The Chosen, the movie.
Yes.
And everyone is celebrating in the streets. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering.
Is that the one with Rob Lowe?
Why would I want to go the route of that to understand Hasidic?
It's not that I want to.
Total make it wrong.
I want to understand. Many of us get information from popular culture, and it drives me crazy when we subconsciously buy into things that are not correct.
And,
That's why I'm
and they're
asking.
partially correct, which means they're incorrect.
Right. That's why I'm trying to figure out what's correct or what's not correct.
What's your
Funny,
question?
I asked the same thing.
What's your
I
question?
asked, it's very hard to get to, what was it really like? Really get to the truth.
Right.
Williamsburg was for me and for others the center of the Jewish universe. It was where everything was cooking. The great people who would become the great minds. Dershowitz grew up here. Around the corner, you could see Red Auerbach, his brother.
Dershowitz, me too.
Alan Dershowitz and his family.
Okay.
Great lawyers and great professors. And
Do you know Leonard Lopate?
I know him from the radio, but I don't know him as a person.
He grew up here.
I didn't know
You know
that.
Really?
Yeah.
We saw Alan King. We knew that he had an apartment here. He lived Mel Brooks. It was
Right, Mel Brooks, I know. Jackie Mason supposedly comes to eat here.
No, Jackie Mason lived on the Lower East Side.
Oh, you live in the Lower East
How do
Side.
I know that?
That's
Because I
right.
was his busboy.
You were what?
I was his
busboy?
busboy in the Concord.
Oh, that's
Wow.
So tell me, when I say Williamsburg, 1940s, what comes to mind?
Color, variety, love. Walking on Bedford Avenue on Shabbos, everyone, public school family, yeshiva families. Hi Marty, hi Yas. We all, in the morning, my father would pick up the Tog Mortgage, would pick up the forwards. When I yarmulke, it wasn't as
Fragmented.
fragmented
Polarized.
and polarized. And also we had a job to do.
It wasn't homogenous either.
It wasn't homogenous, but there was a respect. We all shopped at Flom's.
Right.
You got your herring,
Flom's was open in the 40s? I have no idea.
This is not the real Flom.
This is
It's a pseudo
a company that took it over. We remember the original owner, the lady and the guy.
Wow.
Oh, you don't know the original Flom? Best in New York.
Really?
Everything was fresh and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Huge barrels.
Habermeyer Street was the center of shopping.
Habermeyer, not Lee Avenue?
You remember those small little stores?
here and there?
No, a tailor store, dry goods, a bakery, Quartz Bakery, whatever it was.
By the way, did you read Philip
Real.
Fishman's Sukkah is Burning?
No, it didn't.
He describes a little bit. He also, I think, grew up in the 40s and left Williamsburg, but whatever. I'm just curious.
I never lived Williamsburg. Put it this way, even if I did, Williamsburg didn't live.
Right. I was just curious.
You can take the boy out of the yeshiva, you can't take the yeshiva out of the boy.
So, Bedford Avenue, it was extremely eclectic. I'm sure there were Muggen Davids everywhere. Were there?
I don't know about Morgan Davids, but there was a concern and a love and an anxiety about the Jewish people of Israel. I remember Uncle, we were eating and he would disappear. And I found out years after, he was, where'd you go, Uncle Irving? Where'd you go, Uncle Amy? They were working in Still High to get parts for tanks. I don't know what. Radio. One was a radio operator. It was a participation.
Wow. So
And every Zionist group, including Bnei Akiva, which my wife was very active in. She was one of the chief dancers of Bnei Akiva, national dance troupe.
wow.
You might well know them.
So you came from a partially Hasidic family.
One side.
One side, your father's side.
We had the weirdest marriage probably in the States. We
I'm doing
had
pretty well, aren't I?
heavy Satmar on one side. I mean, seriously. I mean,
I'll soon find out.
Reb Nissen, going to Reb Nissen to show, and we're related. That's what to the Ismach Ofer, the original.
Right.
Wow.
Something.
Yeah.
Teitelbaum dynasty.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all related, and by marriage. To the other side of a totally assimilated American
Not true.
but no one was religious on the
Not
other side.
Zaida, Bobby and Zaida were religious.
They were the only ones. The cousins, none of the religious.
But they knew how to read.
Yeah, but
Hana's kids knew how to read. They knew how to read. Yossi and
But they
Shmuel knew how to
weren't
read.
religious.
No, not in the Orthodox
Right.
meaning of the word.
Right, I see.
They
I
had
see. They were
Shabbos, but it was
traditional.
not exactly. It wasn't Shomer Shabbos in the way it was. You don't carry a
They were
hanky.
religious. End of story. They
Right.
drove on Shabbos. I don't even know if they were kosher or not.
Of course they
They
were.
were totally Americanized.
No, at home.
Okay, we're not having family arguments here.
It's not an
I-
argument. I want to correct his.
They
You
weren't
discuss your other side of the family. I'm only interested in the Sabmer side
Right.
of the family. No, but also, so where there's the public school now in Wilson and Bedford, that whole square block was actually some public space.
No,
Ronnie's
the part near Taylor.
Okay, that was a public space. With
No, I'm fine.
and you were boxing not only Jews, everyone.
Yeah, Golden Love Buffy.
So what other 1940s
Take
main
my advice.
landmarks would you point out to me?
Every block, particularly on Broadway, had theaters. Cinema. We had about 12 movie houses.
Wow.
We had amazing amount of what they call cafeterias now,
Some stuff.
particularly dairy ones.
I think I have.
Which were like cafes where you bought coffee or something?
No, yeah, but big lines, and big
Milkshakes.
things. You went around. Not milkshake. That's a soda shop. That was a big one next to the Williamsburg Theater on Broadway. Broadway is loaded, dotted with movies. The Astor, the Williamsburg, the Marcy, the Commodore, the Sun, etc.,
Oh, I
etc.,
don't want a
etc.
soda. No, I'm good.
Wow.
Great that.
You don't want a tea?
Great shopping, as I told you, world-class shopping on Havamaya. People came from all over New York.
What were they looking for? On having
Bedding, children's
They were
toys.
manufactured here.
Entschuldigt mir, wilt even een gläsel thee?
A glazel tie?
Ja, wel.
I guess I didn't pay. I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Be our guest.
Be our guest.
I live in Brooklyn, south of the park, technically Flatbush, right across Prospect Park in the lower southern part. Yeah.
Park Slope.
No, it's not Park Slope. It's the.
I'm open.
You want a piece of apple strudel? Oh, you'll have a piece of apple strudel.
I'll just have
with tea.
some tea, but thank you. What's your name? See, you're real Chnossarchem, right? How many
course.
of us understand Yiddish? All of us? Okay.
Me, Valise.
Oh, you sound like my son. He sits there while everyone's talking Yiddish, and he's like,
Tea?
No, I can't.
Tea, I don't have tea. Thank you.
Hast nicht kein Tee? Hi.
Okay.
Warum nicht kein Tee? Erfüllen nicht kein Herbal Tee?
Gerbil. Oh, herbal. Sorry. Not that good.
Was hast du?
They stopped their education. I continued on. It's meditation.
Heel.
It's a different world when you reach
Right.
that kind of thing.
I guess I was
I was
wondering.
a Talmud of Rav Palms, a Talmud of Rav Yankees, of Gedalia Shore. This is the top of the heap. Yankees was part of the Mitzvahs Gedalia Torah, the three big Jews of America.
Zwei Apfelstrudels.
And one.
Yeah, put it down. It's called that.
And one diet cherry additional. But they don't have tea. What do you want to
Fine,
drink?
fine. I'm good. I'm good. So, what other landmarks?
We got wild today. We got
The most
We got wild,
important
baby.
thing for
We got
me
wild.
was the Jewish life.
Right. I want to know the Jewish
Loads of
The V
Huge.
Girls School that used to be on Israel was a big stuff.
Because if they do it, they gotta go all the way.
was my just
Oh,
If you're doing it already, you might as well do it all the way. Right?
right. Yeah.
I don't think they say they don't serve a tea.
That's
What's
why
the
the
cups? Oh, mit der Gläsel.
Was willst du haben? Also hab ich kein Tee.
Oh, Spatul.
No, we. Oh, I see.
No, I might serve it.
So hab ich kein Tee. Was willst du haben?
Wo nicht? All right.
Ein Kaffee?
Café au lait.
Da
No.
muss ich kein Kaffee sagen.
No. Wait. So what did you ask me? The Jewish institutional
So I was
life
asking you about where the young Israel used to be, the Hanover Club, you know, the
Israel used to be on Bedford Avenue and Rodman, across the street from the
Right.
Salem.
It's now the Bean Girls School.
I know. Right down the block was the Amshinova. Across the street was the Haredim. Down the block was Carolyn Stalin. Carolyn Stalin.
Right.
I used to go there every month to shop because they were the only group that had a band.
For Malav Malka.
Mama Malka.
Why they were,
Wonderful.
the Colin Stalin was Madrid
Leibniz.
enough, Leibniz enough?
Yeah. I liked that, but it wasn't enough for me. I needed more of that.
Want some of this?
No, thank you. Oh, you are so funny. I always get accused of being too Jewish and by pushing food at people. But,
Oh, you're sitting here.
yeah, no, it's very sweet. I really appreciate it. So when I say 1950, what comes to mind? 1950 Williamsburg. Yes, you were a teenager.
Brooklyn Dodgers.
Soda?
Everyone was into baseball.
Yes. Yankees or Dodgers or 1951. The Polo Grounds, the shot heard around the world. People walked around and pushed it like they were in Availim. Because we lost the last day. We were ahead in the ninth inning. Guy hit a home run, 3 runs. We lost the playoff.
Like, what are we talking about?
It was Gefela.
It was
You don't want to
Gefela.
know about
The
it.
Brooklyn Dodgers?
Yeah, we lost to the Giants. Oh, I have a memory. My uncle Irving was frequently absent, and we asked him, "Where did you go?" And, "Oh, I had to go away." My mother told me the gambling, the mafia's after him. They'll break his legs. So he had a lot of outstanding debts. In 1954, he was a rabid Giants, New York Giants, in Polo Grounds, in Manhattan. And he bet his whole, and he got
Everything.
friends. The Giants were supposed to lose 4 games to the Cleveland Indians. That is, I think at that point had the number one amount of games in baseball history. And the odds of their
If I
beating
recall correctly, this is
of the Giants beating Cleveland was something like 1,000, 2,000 to 1. So he bet whatever he had. The next thing we all knew, we got new refrigerators, we got our first TV. Everyone was living the life large.
What was it? Which year?
That was in 1954.
Wow. That was your first TV?
I don't know what's going on here.
I was already almost 14 years old.
He's
Wow.
getting me very nervous.
That's why there were so many theaters. People didn't have really TVs in the home.
And the air conditioning, no one had air conditioning.
They
You
were
go
air
into a
conditioned
movie.
theaters?
Oh yeah, I would stand outside.
All right, that's it. No more liquids.
Wow.
I remember the Commodore. It's freezing. I used to love it.
Wow.
Um,
So how do you remember the Ungarish immigrants? Like, what's your memory of them?
2
They
kinds.
have to just bring extra plates and I'll cut it. Here, Min, you could start cutting it. Here.
2 kinds of.
Ausgedacht. crazy, like Hans. I remember, but he wasn't necessarily Ungarisch. This was an immigrant, a Nitzel, a Holocaust survivor, in Shoah.
You called them Nitzel? A Nitzel from the show?
Yeah, or Shadows Up Later, whatever.
Sherry said like,
I made fun of them.
we all,
I didn't know. It was crazy. And he looked to me like he was crazy. But the man is that he was crazy. Because he lost his whole family. Hans, he's gedacht, he may have weighed 50 pounds, soaking wet. And my father once called me in, "Mispitzt mich gesucht, das gelacht, nie gespät. What the hell's wrong with you?" in English. Bist du gegangen? I said, why? He's crazy. Steif Kulich. What did I teach you in yeshiva?
wow. What happened? It takes adulthood to really understand.
I couldn't understand. I was 6, 7 years old. But it opened me up. The other thing that I liked very much was the
With the other kind of
yes, no rak Ungarisch,
The what?
no rak Ungarisch,
From excitement.
No Rakungarish. There were more.
all kinds of
Right. Okay. So all
and
the
the can do, the helping hand. We were all in it together. We tried
They were like you were there to help them. Was there that attitude of?
for many of us, certainly the yeshiva belt that I inhabited, very aware of them. To some degree, we felt we were enriched. I remember going from Hasidim to hear Mojit Did I tell you? That was the heyday of Benzin Schenker. Benzin Schenker. You don't know Benzin Schenker? See Weissgun. If you don't know that, he animated all of Jewish music. He was the one who put out the first set of albums of the music of what would have been lost.
So he preserved pre-Holocaust European.
Yeah,
music.
but most particularly the top of the line. Everyone knows that the greatest musical dynasty was the Tao family.
Was who?
The Tao family, Mudgets.
I told him.
What?
This is unbelievable.
Hold it, I have not given up hope on that.
I'm giving you want a sticker?
No, I'm good. Thanks. Though.
Okay.
You saying that?
He wants a piece of the cake.
What did the waiter say to you?
You like
He
it?
said, you're not going to try the apple compote? I said, I tried.
Oh, he's really pushing it.
So to be around
Okay.
where all this was cooking, you go to a lecture at the Amshinova and hear his depth and Shalshinis.
Sensible?
So you consider they were a little bit treated by the old timers as a treasure.
I don't feel like I can
Not
still get
all
up.
of
You
them.
know,
Remember, there were a lot of secular Jews
No,
living.
we didn't.
Plain Yidden. We sent the Yeshiva Shavel, Torah Das knew this was an opportunity.
I see.
We should step forward.
Were the,
Listen, Torah Das was very instrumental in being over the Sabbath Rebbe. Rav Menlovitz. I could find Menlovitz all the time. It was a family
That's
member.
it. That's all.
The Ginder, the founder of Torah.
That's it.
Wilhelm, the Septimus, that's all us up later from the Pirchei. Thierry Godis Israel. Everyone got involved. I wasn't privy to the details, the particulars, but you saw people helping out.
Not sweet, apple-ish.
People took people for jobs. People helped build. I remember my father helping a number of people to build their sukkah.
to build their sukkah.
And those days there was no prefabs. It was
Some geschmack.
a door here, a crate there.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
People who had their fire escapes and who knows what.
It's we on our fire escape. And that
So what's it called?
I loved
Did they
it.
what?
I loved it. So
Is that having fun?
I had it from Al-Azad.
Love it.
And we got a little board. You walk over the bridge here in the Lower East Side.
Wow.
I saw my buddies from RJJ, from MPJ, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef, Schleim, other shuls, other schools.
Wow.
You have to
How
understand how
many
many.
siblings are you?
Perfect.
We're 6 altogether. My father remarried, had a different family. For our mother, we had 6. One isn't here. My sister Mary, not Molly.
Uh-huh.
That's a
So-
good
so-
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
You're going to go nuts over that.
So you have to be
Taste it.
careful.
Not sweet.
I know.
Very hard to find. It's like tart apple, real apple.
Should excuse me a second. Ayid Mr. Happy.
Ja, nie warte. Sie
And
was.
Miss Epis passiert.
Yeah.
Abbas.
I know that's what he's looking for. Huh?
No.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So it was really the dawn of like the time where everything was changing, but also
And getting better.
and getting better.
And then it changed.
When?
Without any people in it. So if you swipe, I
Maybe
see
54.
Why?
It really changed.
They got
Three reasons.
too many of them.
There were too many.
And they got very triumphant.
Really?
You know what you should read in your life?
They wouldn't walk on Bethlehem. They wouldn't say good Shabbos to someone on we hebben niet gebouwd handelen met staan pushen die.
And until then, they were very differential.
No, it was Jew to Jew. No, you're not big and I'm not big. So now let's do something. They
They,
weren't.
they didn't come already with a sense
this
of
year was gold.
not wanting to interact with Madonna or something.
I love it. I love it. I'll have 3 more.
Get more.
And that, okay, if you're saying you love it, then I know that it's not all goopy, that it's okay.
This is
You never
delicious.
like it.
Like no vanilla. It's not over sweet.
And it's a real apple.
No.
Maybe you have to bring a piece of that one for mommy too then.
Sounds good.
How old is your son? You're saying you have a son?
Yes, he's having bar mitzvah tomorrow.
Mazel tov.
Tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
A son is being bar mitzvah
Tomorrow.
Parshas Lech Lecha.
Parshas Lech Lecha. Why? Is it Parshas Lech Lecha?
Yeah, the Shabbos was Noach.
Right, I forget. Yeah, we're in third
Where is he?
year.
Where is he being bar
Year.
mitzvah?
He's actually with his father in Israel for his bar mitzvah.
Oh, very nice.
So
You're separated? Or
yeah, I'm divorced.
Oh, okay.
I had him when I was married to his father's Hasidish. So what?
His father?
His father, yeah.
Bnei Brak?
No, but from a Bnei Brak family.
So he lives there full time?
No, he lives here.
Oh, your son lives here.
Oh yeah, he's from a Bnei Brak family. But my son lives with me. His father lives here in Williamsburg. And my son is on his first major trip ever with his father to Israel.
That's nice.
For the bar mitzvah.
Nice.
We just spent the summer in Israel.
Yeah.
I had one of my granddaughters was bar mitzvah.
Oh, that's
And we took her
wonderful.
to Israel, the whole family. Her son, her father, my son, my daughter-in-law, and the other kid. We all went.
Oh, that's so
Mazel
sweet.
tov, mazel tov.
I go a lot.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so. I mean, even though I'm not doing anything, he's not going to be home for the bar mitzvah. You know, he lives with me. It's really, I'm feeling very
You'll
excited.
see it. You'll see
Yeah,
it.
I'll see it.
You'll be
I'll
it.
see it. Yeah. I think it's a good experience.
Does he go to yeshiva?
But, because they don't sell it at
You have a place to hang
Walgreens
where you can meet,
or
you know,
Rite Aid, which is
in
the one
Park Slope. I assume you're talking about Windsor Terrace, that area?
Yeah, we live next to the park. It's on the south side. It's technically Flatbush
Yeah,
or Prospect Park South.
I know, but you
Yeah.
have a chance to go to
We have
other
the park. Yeah,
Shuls and-
Brooklyn is now
loaded.
loaded in a different way, in a way that's extremely unaffordable, in a way that's extremely rich and poor divided.
I know.
I walk my dog in the morning.
We were all relatively poor, or beginning middle class.
Halavai.
We were all in it together.
Here, where I live, the parents of these wealthy families, the parents have nothing to do with their time. They come to the park and they cheer on their kids playing like their lives depended on it. And just the sight of them having so much energy to invest in their 5-year-old soccer is just driving me crazy. Like I don't feel like I'm connected either to the extremely poor population, which is predominantly black population, and then there are the extremely wealthy. And they have time on a Sunday to spend 4 hours screaming to their child
It's
to.
hard to find a community.
It's hard to find them.
There's some good new shuls on 8th and further up in 19th, whatever. Is there ever
I'm gonna find a shul yet. I feel like when I'm ready, I'm gonna kind of.
Well, there's also huge alternative movements now. There's small groups that are found that are coming together, and there's base motion. Have you heard of that? That's
Moses House.
Moses House. It's huge.
Moshe House.
Moshe House, right,
But
right.
it's a not-for-profit, no?
Right.
I don't trust any not-for-profits. Hasidim. They're just looking for their own money.
Hasidim call you so and I'm Umayim.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny you said that also.
Hasidim.
Hasidim call you so and I'm mine. That's a twist on what is it supposed to be.
Chaver.
Chaver. You said it.
At the Rosh Hashanah bench, at the Rosh Chodesh bench.
Oh, at the Rosh Chodesh bench. A London, yes. I love it. You're a whole London.
Well, I'm in the state.
He's really learned. I see. So, when did you move out? In the 50s and the 60s?
I moved out
Ronnie, you get some.
when my father,
I think we hit gold.
who had already bought a butcher store on Rogers Avenue in Grand Heights,
No, don't worry about it.
you know, met a lady who was about to get married, and I told you that second family. I needed a little independence, so I also moved to Japan. I had my own first apartment when I was about 19, 20 years old.
Don't worry
I
about
was
it.
going to Brooklyn College at night and going to Turbidas
Right.
during the day. But
So you had an apartment in Crown Heights?
yeah, 710 Crown Street.
Crown Street? So that was when? In 19? I didn't hear.
Early 60s.
Early 60s.
At that time, I already met my
Your wife.
wife-to-be. We were friends, part of a larger circle of yeshiva kids, ex-yeshiva kids who kind of looked down on those who weren't learned. On the other hand, we wanted to hop in what
Right.
New York had to offer. The village was a immensely important focus, jazz and Latin. We hung out in the village gate a lot, the village vanguard.
Wow.
I didn't sleep. I don't know how I did do it. I had to go I finished a full load of courses at Brooklyn College.
What did you say?
And then go into New York. Go to Manhattan at 20 to 11 o'clock. Come home 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Go to yeshiva. I was like a wreck. I don't know how I did it. I wouldn't recommend it.
No,
Wow.
It was, weil ich sollte zu abon in Bekirba, I didn't know who I was. What the hell am I doing? Because there were no models.
Right. You
I
had to
was-
form your own.
I had to form my own derech.
Wow.
Luckily, we had a circle of
Similar people on this journey.
And luckily, we were lucky enough to discover Shlomo.
To discover what?
Of Shlomo Kabach. All of a sudden, it became kosher to hang out in the village. Because he hung out in the village.
Right.
And he was a London. He was a gadol.
I don't know much about Shlomo
I can't believe
but
that.
his singing. I mean,
Oh, his Torah. Every year I give over his
all
Torah.
I know is he's ensconced in scandal. I thought he was a singer with a scandalous life, like any. No, I totally didn't get the Shlomo
I
Kabach.
don't get it.
I'm going to revisit him. But I just want to, before I go, because I have to go, I want to get a full sense of, like, do you remember the BQE being built?
Yes, that was horrific.
It was horrific.
Killed the community. Made us unhappy.
Why?
They were tearing down houses.
They were
Very
taking
good.
houses eminent domain.
Yeah. I'm not paying enough. And they tore down old churches and cockroaches and rats were all over the streets. It was horrific.
You guys this time?
Wow.
Splitting open Bedford Avenue, splitting open Lee Avenue. Continue. Our beloved Williamsburg.
How come you couldn't stop it?
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, what are you going to
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if any of my parents or Robert Moses.
do? Robert Moses was the architect.
Yeah, he had power. What can I tell you?
Wow. I see there are some people are still online agitating for better compensation for the BQE destruction. Wow.
Listen, I grew up, you should know, that the color white was very prominent in my life, not black. Why white?
Why white?
The biggest Navy Yard in America.
No,
The Brooklyn Navy Yard. There was sailors all over the streets.
Wow.
Marching, formation, being off, shopping, going to a movie. It's cold.
There's now a Chnus right here, 6
Oh.
on Climate Street, on the
Yeah,
street.
Climate Street? Welke Shiel?
Climate, yeah.
Climate Street.
You come here often?
Very nice.
You come here often?
I come here about twice a year.
The
bringing music. And
Yeah,
football.
you should
Okay. Sie können sein mit nein. Okay, maybe we should go. Danke, sind mir eingeladen. I know where it is. I grew up on Climate Street. That was the first where I was born. Then we moved to 56 Bedford Avenue in Wilson, and then 101 Wilson.
The project preceded you, right?
Oh.
When were they built? I have no idea.
They were built in the 50s.
Oh, they were built in the 50s?
Yeah.
How come there were so many Hasidim in the project?
Because they had no place else to live.
Enough money.
No, the housing stock was limited. It was all private homes, U Street. Gorgeous homes.
Really? It was supposed to be a nice neighborhood.
Talking about it, gorgeous housing stock that could have outlasted anything. As good as the Upper West Side, as good as listen,
Really?
Fort Greene. They're great houses.
So,
By the way, this is extraordinary. Extraordinary. The type. Well, I'm talking business here, you know, so.
sorry, I'm stealing it. I just want to go away without having clicked it in my head. Then it's going to be a shame. So, if you were to give me 3 reasons why this community, there are no Orthodox Jews besides Hasidim here, what would they be?
What?
Why there are no Orthodox Jews here besides Hasidim?
They were crowded out.
They were crowded out by whom?
By
Hasidim made it in Batam.
Batam and voracious needs. Who had 6, 7, 8 kids? No one. I get. What say? But also
The BQE.
the BQE that threw people out. But also, all of a sudden, the Jews here were no longer shopkeepers on the avenue. They were retiring, but they wanted their kids to be doctors and lawyers.
I see.
And they send them away to colleges all over, not only to Brooklyn College and City College, which was the norm, because it cost like $15 a year.
Wow.
I paid $15 a semester. Not only that, they paid me to go to school because I was a New York State Scholarship for the region.
Wow.
And they paid for your book. It was a joke.
You know, if you really want to understand the decline of Williamsburg, read the Power Broker,
The power broker.
the story of Robert Moses.
Right. I heard of it. I mean, I've heard interviews on the radio about Robert Moses. I'm very interested.
Powerful human being.
Phenomenal book.
It's like a shadow government.
It's so interesting, but particularly the part that how the VQE tore apart Williamsburg.
Yeah.
How it used to be a much neighborhood, and then the construction just uprooted the whole neighborhood and 10 adjoining neighborhoods.
Right.
Greenpoint, Bedford Stuyvesant. It's a great book. If you want to read it.
Wow.
So-
What do you consider yourselves in terms of what kind of American Jews? What kind of
My wife calls me a devout eclectic.
a devout eclectic? Like, do you have a European affiliation anywhere in Europe? Like, when you say we're Ungarischen,
I don't say that.
I'm asking. Like,
I don't say
We have a what? I'm sorry.
an affiliation with anywhere in Europe. Liebeste Finden daheim. That's what we would always ask.
If you call me a Labor de Yid, that's all that satisfies me.
Okay, you're a led.
I don't need to know.
Harav Yisroel, right?
Yes.
Yassel?
You call me Yassel, it's fine. I won't call you. I'm emeritus now. I don't need the title.
No,
don't
no,
need
no. That's a title you work for.
Did you bring the letter? Or you
I
mailed it?
mailed it to
You
you.
mailed it. Okay, great.
I had to give him a reference because he's going on volunteers for Israel. So it's funny.
Nice.
I say,
Army base.
I wanted you to know, you should believe everything I'm going to say, because I know this gentleman since he was born. I happen to be his older brother.
Right.
It's a rabbinic
Ah,
reference.
that's a letter.
Yeah. Then I wrote some of his.
They're very serious. You have to get medical.
What are you gonna do? Volunteering on a base?
2 weeks. And you do whatever.
Is that like at your expense? Totally.
No, you pay for your own way to get there. But once you're there, they take care of it.
Wow.
Yeah. And you sleep, in an army base, like a soldier.
Well, you should have seen the cot that he picked out for himself. Oh, you think of that?
Wow.
I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
You got to be able to tolerate group mandates, group rules and regulations. You're not going to have your private bed and your special machulim.
Yeah,
It's an army base.
But if it's a good cod, it's a good cod.
But if you're going there knowing that and you're ready to help, everything.
Yeah, everything will
I
float.
want to work. I don't want to
You don't want to be like a
wander
king.
around like a putz, like a
Right.
tourist. You know, oh, here's another wall.
Where's the base? Where in Israel?
Well, well, I'm not 100% sure yet, but they think there's possibility of two. That's what the guy told me.
Which one?
One is Tel Nof, which is near Tel Aviv. And the other one is close to the Negev, which is in the desert. And that would be, I think, an Air Force. That's not Army, that's Air Force.
I see.
So it's, I don't know exactly. They put you wherever. They work in conjunction with an Israeli group that really administers the whole thing.
The whole volunteer.
Yeah, so it happens, you know, so it's wherever they really need you. Yeah, I think it'll be very
Looks like
interesting.
a delicious.
And then you have
I
off
hope
weekends.
you loved it as much as
So you get to tour,
Yes.
see places.
Yeah.
I
I've
read
been.
Modernize.
Have you been?
I've been to Israel twice, but very briefly.
Oh, okay. There's a lot to see,
There's a
but
lot to see.
yeah, like, it's small, so you can go. Like we're planning already to go visit a friend. We want to go visit
She
Ricky
always does.
up in the
in the Galilee.
in the Galilee.
She's an ex-student of mine who made Aliyah and on a mitzpeh. That means an overlook, given a lot of money by the army, by the government to make sure that they're, because it's an entirely, it was then an entirely Arab
I see.
Palestinian area. So just to have a Jewish presence
I see.
in the Galilee. I have two Gator
You're
couples.
real Zionists, both of you.
I am.
What about you?
I don't know. I mean, I you know, I have very strong feelings about it, but
Right. No, I'm not asking
I
with
go.
any judgment
I've been
at
there.
all,
I've been there
one
20
way or another.
times. I have students there. I have mishpocha there. I know my mishpocha. He hasn't yet connected to our mishpocha there. Cousins.
I see. So you lived in Williamsburg from when to when?
I lived in Williamsburg from when I was born, which is 1954 to about 1960, 61.
Your family moved to Crown Heights as well? Like the parents?
Well, my mother died. Our mother died when we were very young.
I'm so
Giving
sorry.
birth to a seventh child.
What? Giving
Giving
birth to
birth to a
seven.
seventh child.
The child didn't survive.
No, they killed the child to allow
Trying
her
to save her. Oh, I'm so sorry. So you didn't grow up with your mother.
No.
He remarried.
My father remarried. He remarried twice. He married a woman in Crown Heights.
That's the one I told you about.
Right, from the bakery woman.
Yeah, I had to move away because
Yeah. And then he remarried again, and then got divorced again.
Wow, what a life.
He had a lot.
You had an interesting childhood.
Yeah.
Less so than
I was
less-
anchored. He wasn't.
Yeah, less anchored than him.
Oh, God, I had
You were
family
anchored in
all
his
over.
community.
Oh, cousins, relatives all over the place. Plus, I had a mother and father. He grew up without a mother.
Wow.
I did that.
And it has feet even. I'm always looking for persons with feet.
So treat your son
Yeah.
well. Mother's very
Yeah, so you
important.
don't have to worry about getting
Yeah,
your
I hear
schwitzy
that.
Remember that Crosby, Stills and Nash?
And
Oh, really?
Treat your children well.
That's the only thing I want.
I have so many pop culture references from you guys now to look up.
Say that again?
I have so many pop culture references to look up now. So you were saying, I'm just wrapping it up because I have to go. I find it really interesting you were saying about parents wanting to send their children to be doctors and lawyers. How that
Changed the
also changed
character
the
of
character.
the community. Because the
You can have
commitment to Williamsburg, to place, to wasn't as strong
The earlier
anymore.
generation wanted their children to be like in manufacturing, local businesses.
No. But they couldn't do very much about it. And as they started
Why?
making it, you have money to send kids
Right.
There was
to
an
the great
enormous
schools.
demographic change in New York in the 50s. What started to happen is that the second generation of American Jews already started to become much more affluent.
Yeah, and they wanted to move out to the island.
They
New
didn't want
Jersey.
their kids
When
to
was white flight?
What?
54 to about 70, till the late 70s.
I
There was
see.
a massive exodus from the
Yeah, there were
That
sections of
destroyed the
Manhattan that were not just Union line, white line.
Wow.
Yeah, there were three things that really did it, I think. And I read a lot about it. It was the white flight from all the inner cities. Same thing happened to Brooklyn, that happened to the Bronx. So
Right.
there was this big vacuum. Then there was a huge influx of Puerto Ricans and blacks who came in to fill that void, there. And that created a lot of crime, a lot of problems. And then the third thing was the tearing apart in so many communities with the Robert Moses, with
Right, with the
the highways and the construction and all
right.
that. Because if you have, I've read a lot about this. Actually, it's a very good book that's out now. I don't know if you. Excellent book. I can give it to you if you want. It's called Vanishing in New York.
I read about it.
Oh, I read about it also. There's this
Very
artist
good.
who's complaining a lot about how New York.
Yeah,
From an
it's actually
artist.
quite a good book. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of some of it.
I hear you. I read a review of it and I thought I wouldn't agree with everything, but I would like the gist
but
of
it does give you an excellent history, history of how it all changed, like in the 30s and stuff.
Right.
And that was a major thing.
I
That
don't
tore up a
think-
lot of communities.
I don't think white flight for me captures what really happened. Flight means you're running away from something. They were running
To
to
something. Better
yeah,
status.
suburban status, bigger homes, fancier lawns.
Cars.
Yeah, cars. What cars?
But it wasn't just Jewish.
No, right.
Everybody.
Yeah, right.
Everyone who could.
Yeah,
Everyone
the
who could,
Italian
right.
community started making it. No one wanted to live in Little Italy anymore.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
no one wanted to live in the old neighborhoods.
And how do you like the way
Guess
it's all
what?
reversed?
Guess what North Williamsburg
It's all
was?
reversed.
Everyone wants to come to the
Yeah,
city now.
Let's come back to the
Guess
city
what
now.
North Williamsburg was?
It was factories,
Oh.
Puerto Rican.
No, one part. The part that I know near Briggs Avenue, Bethany. White old people, Ukrainians, Polish, things like that. Potato people. They look like potatoes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very ugly. They didn't dress anything up. The housing, the shops. Their kids didn't want to live there. They
Right.
lived and died there. And now people just that became the New Williamsburg, the North Williamsburg.
Oh, so let's all
Do you
go
remember?
walk out together.
Schaefer, beer, Domino,
Where's
sugar.
the car?
Did you see the new Domino Sugar Park?
No,
You should go.
I'm going there.
65. Let me get us the check. Let me get us the check.
Where else?
Yes, we're handling it.
We're gonna handle
We're
it.
handling it, huh? Die zwei Brüder nehmen Käfer mit
Zwei
Joyce.
ältere Brüder, the Kuschel Brüder.
Yeah. So, what else? Schaefer the beer,
Schaefer,
Domino's.
Domino. First of all, there was Schlachthos on Kent Avenue. You could pick up your chicken.
Right.
I remember.
Chicken.
And you would see the shirkat do his work.
Right. I remember that as a child.
All right, and I remember the Navy Yard very, very well.
The Wonder
Smell.
Bread. Remember?
Wonder Bread had a place over here, yes.
Do you remember what was the smell of the Navy Yard? Terrible.
Yes, because it wasn't clean. The area, there was a lot of detritus, there was a lot of junk, there was a lot of...
I'm sorry, did you see?
No, ich habe nicht gesehen.
Well, no,
No.
He said someone paid.
Ronnie again?
no, he has the wrong
There's the
table.
wrong table. It's a mystery.
All right, go help this guy out.
Wrong
He's
table,
got some
not
fun
our
little.
table.
So,
Get your sister in, you know, take her.
I worked in this store.
You
I
worked
was a
there?
waiter.
When?
Late 50s.
So shine pools.
I worked a lot because I had to make my own money, and I was living alone at some point. I had my own apartment. I had to work in the summers. I worked in the Catskills.
Which year did you get married? Sorry.
I got married 65, whatever. I married about
You waited a
53
while.
years. Oh, I didn't have any money. I needed some money. I was finishing a master's, and then I went to another master's. I was going to go for a PhD in comp lit. I like text. I'm very good with text. So I was good in languages and good in text. Going for a doctorate.
Me?
Wood.
Kidding you.
Even du geweest? Louis Anubi? Kan je zeggen?
Oh,
We're done.
She is. She did it.
It's about time. You guys have been treating me my whole life.
Oh
No
my
way.
God.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Bist den ganzen Tag.
ganz
One
machine.
meal. You guys have always treated me.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure, that's so sweet.
No.
Wow.
It was,
Oh, that's the
It
sweetest.
was, please, I'm working now. Please. It really, you have
Oh.
always treated me.
If I had known that, I would have given you a bigger birthday
You have
present.
given me.
Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened. It's hysterical.
We can't figure out. He said it's all paid for.
And we couldn't figure it out. Yosel and I were going to take care of it.
So who paid for it?
I can't believe it. And I thought Min was lying to me. He kept on saying that I'm with the dark hair, that I'm with the dark hair. I thought she was, lying to me.
Shira.
Sharona, come on, that's not
She got some sugar. I'll take it.
Let's give it cash.
No, I knew
You send her a present.
No,
if you like.
you
So
guys have
sweet.
always
It's true.
treated me every time I come
Sure,
home.
thank you.
Just give us in San Francisco. She moved
It
back
was
If I would have known, I would have had 3 hot dogs.
because he couldn't make a living anymore. It got much more expensive.
It's crazy. San
Crazy.
Francisco.
Seven
I thought you had somewhere to
Verona,
Yeah,
thank
my
you.
happy.
Yeah.
It was, it felt cut off.
I said thank you for. No, not yet. So
Oh, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's about 130.
I'm gonna say, I would-
Ask him how much he'll give me after that. Did you forget?
No, I don't. I just said yes.
I'll give him 40.
No. $40. $130? Yeah. 20% is 26. So you want to give him $30?
100. It was 147.
No.
What's the tax is 1056. No, the tax is. Oh no, it looks like there's an